Hello guys, in this guide we will cover in detail how to solo Dire Maul North Tribute as a hunter. I feel this necessary because even though there are many guys out there, they simply present the run without explaining why, or even if they explain some steps, they do not go through everything. So here we will cover in detail everything you need to do. This is not meant to be the fastest run possible. For that there are other guides. I feel that for them to work they need the stars to be aligned and you need to be really lucky. So I don't think that it is consistent and it's not something you should do on a regular basis. However, this is meant to be the fastest possible while ensuring maximum safety. Even still, the run should take us somewhere between 15 and 17 minutes and your pet should die between 0 and 3 times, so it should still be quite fast. For that, we will go over in detail every single step you need to make, covering what kills you and what you should not do. In order to learn all this, it took me 2 full repairs, so I hope that by watching this guide you can save yourself some gold and some time. Covering my gear. I have some pre-raid bees mixed with some raid gear. I feel that the most important part of the gear is actually the hunter set. You will be using a lot of man-pad, so having this reduction cost and mana is sure a big help and saves you time. The 5-side bonus must also be very useful to make sure that your pet does not die at all. However, this bonus, which is the same as the tier 2 bonus, causes some aggro issues with the boss. If you have them active, you need to use your pet to body pull the 2 bosses without attacking them, because if you cast a spell on them, their aggro will synchronize and it will mess up the fight. For this reason, I think that it's best that you use this set bonus until you reach the king room, but once you are there, you unequip it. And apart from this, the rest does not really matter. It just can save you 1 or 2 minutes at max, but it's not going to be the most difference. You should instead focus on how you use your abilities. In terms of my talents, I have a normal Dire Maul spec, I believe. And in terms of my pet talents, I have maximum shadow resistance, so that it can resist the banishes that the warlocks cast. It can ensure that it stays alive. And I have nature resistance to help surviving the scorpions and to farm Dire Maul East. I use a serpent for 2 reasons. The first is because it eats bread, and bread is mage food, so it ensures that I have a lot of supply for my pet. And the second is because it is a ranged one, and I believe that being ranged helps it surviving. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing that you need to do is to reset the instance. This will guarantee that the patrols are in a good position and that it will not have unpredictable pathing. Once we are in, put the pet on stay. Lay down a frost trap, because this will ensure that your pet survives this first pull. Send pet to attack, and send it to the other pack. One critical aspect that you should always bear in mind is to not get close to the mobs until they are running. Because if they are not running, it means that they have not a pet targeted, which means that they can turn on you and cause you to lose time or potentially wipe. You can use the PvP trinket here, because these guys can still polymorph you. As you go forward, don't try to jump on the ledge, just try to keep a straight line and run as fast as you can, so that your pet despawns. In here you can go through both sides, but I will choose the side that has only 1 melee, because it means that you only have to CC one target. The casters can be largely ignored, because the time it takes them to cast one frostbolt is enough for you to get by. In this case I got pretty unlucky because both sides had 2 melees, so it doesn't really matter which side you choose. I get a bit of health. To be sure, you never know what happens, they can crit or slow you. And when going in, just make sure to first concussive shot the furthest away target. Scatter shot as it comes to you, and after you get hit by the frostbolt, feign death here. If you feign death any more to the left, you will aggro the mobs as you get up and you will die. It is also very important that you wait for a melee attack or a frostbolt to hit you before you feign death, because due to the way that spell batching works in Classic, if you feign death too soon, the spell can batch in and put you in combat, cancelling the effect and keeping the mobs on aggro. After here is the smooth sail. We get up, we jump on this ledge not to aggro the pack on the right, keep hugging the wall on the left, and just run straight to the key. That Ogre Magi patrol sometimes is down, sometimes is up, it's a bit random, but if he did not pass, just wait for him to pass. Avoid the guy on the left by hugging this pillar, and make your way exactly through here. Any more to the right, you will aggro the dogs below, and if you go to the left, you will aggro the guy on the left. But even if you aggro me, it's no problem, you can just jump on the fence and feint dive if you need to, or just keep running and scattershot the guys that follow you. Once you've made it inside, revive your pet if you need to, heal it to full HP and put it on stay and passive. If you have your cooldown of feint dive ready, you can send your pet to attack, and then when the mobs start running, send the pet back and you can go in. By this time an eye should be appearing, just kill it and move on to the next safe spot. If you didn't kill the eye yet, you can wait for it here. Once here, just revive your pet in case it has any banish and the debuff runs out. Heal yourself just to be safe, because you have to wait for the feint dive cooldown anyway. And when the cooldown starts to be between 12 and 15 seconds of feint dive, you can send the pack to the next warlock and send it back to attack the warlock in the pack before. In here, it is absolutely essential for your pet not to die that you target this mob, because when you target the melee, as he approaches your pet, he reduces the distance he needs to walk, and it will cause the pet not to despawn and die when you move forward a bit. So once you make it here, just feint dive more or less in the middle, call back your pet, heal him, and just drink up and get your health while you wait for the feint dive cooldown to be ready. Again, when the cooldown is below 15 seconds, you can start pulling. I start by putting a frost trap in front, because it helps ensuring that the pet will stay alive in this pool. I put a pet on stay, send it to the first mob, send it to the last curb, send it to the back to stay, and when the beetles are about to catch up, I send it to attack the warlock to gain a bit more distance. And in this case I barely made it. Once we are here, there are many ways to pull the next pack. I'm going to show you 4 ways and how you can do it. One way, which is the easiest if you're a night elf, and 3 others for the other races. Make sure to feint dive exactly inside this square. If you feint dive any more to the right or to the left, when you go into Shadow Melt, the boss will aggro. But if you stay in this zone, you can Shadow Melt and be safe throughout every part of the pathing. The eye will also not detect you while you are Shadow Melt here. I strongly suggest to always kill the eye before proceeding, because if he detects you while you are invisible, you have to break your whole run and it will mess up. So here you have to wait for the feint dive cooldown anyway, so it doesn't hurt to wait 30 more seconds, the eye should be coming anytime soon. And as you will see, the boss will not attack me because I am in the safe zone, and the eye will also not attack me because I am in the safe zone. So here the boss, if I get out of Shadow Melt, the boss will still attack me and he will kill me. So I wait for the boss to get to the right and for the eye to come back. Also notice the possible existence of a chest there that sometimes is unlocked, or in case if it is locked, you can ask a rogue friend to loot it for you. The chest can also spawn on the level above, behind this pack. In here you just have to be careful because this demon keeps aggroing all the time, so a way I found that you can drop combat is to put him on a frost trap and then loot the chest. Or simply be king. Now that the eye is dead, we can proceed. We start by using scatter shot on the first guy, concussive on the guy to the right, keeping the distance to him as we run, and we are going to feint dive exactly in here. In a second method you can avoid the boss entirely. You can stand this far to the left, bearing in mind that this range was because this beetle was level 57, and as the boss comes you just move to the other side, and after this you can repeat the process of method 1.1. If you are more impatient, you can just aggro all of them. You send the pet to the river when the boss is nearby, and then try to target the warlock in the back so that the pet gains enough distance to despawn, and here I was not able to do it, and then when they are gone you come to the same spot and feign death. A fourth method there is to use these bones to go up to the pillar. Once you are here, you use the same as the method 1.2, in which when the boss is coming you move in the opposite direction. If you don't move and if the boss gains aggro on you, he will teleport you to his feet and very likely kill you. So when it's coming, as we shown before, you start moving in the opposite direction, and then when you are here, this mob can still attack you, so take off aspect of the cheetah, and after this you just jump, scatter shot, concussive if you need to, put aspect of the cheetah and feign death. You must feign death exactly here because the stairs create line of sight, which guarantees that you will not aggro the pact in front of you. If you feign death more to the right, you will not have time as you use your potion, and to the left you will have sight of you, so this is actually the sweet spot, and make sure to always feign death in this precise place. Also make sure that before feigning death you have aspect of the cheetah on, so that you have enough time to make it to the next place. From here we use your potion and start running immediately. Try to run in a straight line and not swing, not to lose any further time. If you don't have aspect of the cheetah on, don't even try to make it to the next level. Instead, run back to this corner and use a speed item, immediately followed by a gnomish cloaking device. In here keep running in a straight line to save as much time as possible, and as you go up, hug the left, not to aggro the pack that you just went through. Once we are here, we will call back the pack or revive him in case he died, heal him to full, and in this corner just put him on passive and stay. When he is full you can start make your way up. The way I do is I put down a freezing trap, and while hugging the left here, I pull this guy, target the next one, run back, and the first guy will fall in the trap, and as they are coming down I send my pet to attack the guy in the back to gain aggro, and then back on the stay command, and you will go back, and here keep hugging the left not to pull that back on the right, and once you are here nudge a bit to the right for the pet to dismiss and open it with a large seaforium charge. Another method you can use is by pulling both packs. To do this, you start by laying down a frost trap, which is a AoE slow, and then sending the pet to attack manually. I send him manually because in my macro I have the speed, and it was too early. So I use the speed now, so that he can keep the buff up as long as possible, and then send the pet back with the stay command. And then once you are here, do the same. I feel this is actually a bit riskier because the mobs are closer to you, and as you can see they start attacking me earlier. But we made it, and here feign death. Once inside you can feign death, call back your pet and heal him while you wait for the next feign death cooldown. Meanwhile you can start positioning your pet by putting him on the back and on stay. Send him to attack, and as soon as the mobs start moving, send the pet back using the macro, and you run. The demon there will try to cast a banish on you. You can counter this by using a shadow reflector or a PvP trinket. In this pool, pretty much the same thing. First I target this guy to make sure that he will not turn on me, and when the second pack starts moving I send the pet back and move. Sometimes you will find the dogs in this place. If they are here, you can just put aspect of the monkey and kite them and feign death after the stairs. In my case the dogs are starting their patrol back, and I prepare myself to kill them. It is very important that I kill the dogs before the boss, otherwise they will probably mess up your run, so it's just safer to kill them. In order to do so, I'll lay a frost trap near the wall. I open them and you just abuse the ledges not to get hit, because they hit pretty hard, so you don't want to get them in your melee range. And keep running until the multi-shot cooldown is up, and don't bother with anything else. You can do the fight without killing the dogs, but it is safer that you kill them. It is also safer for when you bring people in that are trying to buy the buffs. Keep moving, and we're going to start kiting them on a ledge above. Use concussive shot or scatter shot if they start to get close to you. And when you have multi-shot, use it again. And after using multi-shot you can jump. Get some more autos in, and by this time they should be dead. Or if not, you can continue to the ledge on the right and just using this principle. To pull the boss, I set my pet to attack to get aggro, and the moment he hits it, I send it back to follow, so that the distance it puts itself in is enough for it to despawn. And once it despawns, I come to this corner, summon it, heal him if necessary, put him on stay, and prepare to do the boss encounter. Until this point, the hardest is done, and this should be a breeze from now on. Start with a Serpent Sting, a multi-shot, and start to position myself. When the caster boss is coming, I use this opportunity to put a Viper Sting on him and hide back in line of sight. It's imperative that you never allow Gordok to be in sight of you and in range of you, because he will charge you. Regarding the boss control, there are some tricks that you want to bear in mind. You will be killing Gordok from the green line to the left, which means that you don't want the Show Rush to be in the same spot, because he will keep casting spells on you for long as he has mana. So you want to start attacking Show Rush in the red line, so that he will try to go back to you and he will leave you free to DPS Gordok. So we aggro Show Rush and start casting an aim shot on Gordok. And weave in as many attacks as possible while line of sighting the spells that he's casting. But it doesn't matter much if you get hit by one or two spells, because you will never use your life as a resource. Mana is the most important one for sure. I have not used Feign Death yet, because the king still has Serpent Sting on him. If you Feign Death and come out of it while he has the dot, the tick will cause him to not go to your pet but go again to you, and since he is so close already, he will not have time to Feign Death again and you will potentially wipe. Nevertheless, the dot does not aggro when the boss is far away and out of line of sight. Also, the spirits observing the encounter keep you in combat all the time. So if you are low on health for some reason and you need to heat up, you can come to this spot, Feign Death, and you can start heating here to regen your health. If you are really low, you can also eat under the wall, so that the boss will remain in line of sight of you, so you can eat for a longer period. Again, we start attacking the Gordok when he's about to pass the bush. And here we make a mistake. We use aspect of the hawk and this generates aggro, which makes Kortok come back to us instead of attacking the pet. But that is no problem at all. We can use this time to fully drain the mana of this guy. Here we make another mistake. A shot was on the stack, which causes it to go early and mess up our rotation. Another mistake happens here because we were typing. This is not meant to be, you can just line of sight under the pillar, but it really makes no difference. Soon, take note of the fact that we will use aspect of the hawk sooner, and since the boss is so far away, it will not disrupt his path. Now that Shore Rush is almost out of mana, you don't need to keep them separated anymore. You can DPS Gordok normally, and since he has no more mana to cast spells, he won't bother you much. Since Shore Rush is so forward now, I put him a concussive shot to try to stack him a bit more. Makes it a bit easier to control. And from here there's not much else to say, it's rinse and repeat until he eventually dies. As Gordok reaches below 20%, it starts getting slower, which enables you to weave in more auto attacks and even 2 aimed shots as he makes the run back. Once the king is dead, you can loot it, but before spawning the tribute, talk to the guard that was on the room before, so that he can give you additional pieces of loot in the tribute. A book can spawn here, so keep an eye out for that. A second possible tome location that I have found is right under the stairs here, near the skeletons. And it's done, just talk to the guy, get the king buff and collect your hard-earned reward. As you can see, this was not a perfect flawless run, but we still made it under 16 minutes, which is an amazing time. Before concluding this video, I just want to show you a final tip on how you can avoid the scorpions. First you put a frost trap, then while keeping the pet on the same line as the trap, you send it to attack before, and when the scorpions start moving, you make your way through. And the slow trap will make sure that your pet gains enough distance and will allow you time to despawn. And once you skip them, you can fan dive here, and from here on they are all not aggressive. This is because we have the king buff, as you might have noticed. If you want to smoothly sell buffs, as I recommend you to do, you still need to kill 2 packs of 2 rivers on the way back. To do this, you need to lose this buff. There are 2 ways to do it. One way is to walk out of the instance and back in, or another easier way is to simply log out and log back in the same spot. Now that we have lost the king buff, we are ready to kill the last mobs that are aggressive even after the instance is cleared, which is this pack of spiders and 2 packs of 2 rivers up ahead. You can do it solo, but it's a bit tricky, so I prefer to just wait for some friends who want to buy buffs to come along. For the rivers ahead, it's also doable with any class, as long as you are 2, but some classes make it easier than others, like warrior or mage, who can apply a permanent slow effect, so you can kite very easily. Before pulling, I recommend you to wait for the boss to be on the left side. In this case he's on the right side, so he's in the middle of our path, so if we go forward we will aggro. So just wait a bit, wait it to go to a safe spot, and then prepare to aggro the rivers. Before pulling, I lay down a frost trap to get the first one. I attack the guy on the right, and since he's a bit slower, we'll engage him, and the first guy on the left will fall into the trap, and from here we just kill. Just watch out for any eye that after you lose a king buff they can become aggressive. Sometimes they are not, sometimes they are. So just make sure to kill them every time they have a swords on him, and just really finish the rivers. All these demons stay aggressive and they can scare you by trying to attack, but don't worry, they will leash back. And up here we find the last pack of 2 rivers. It's pretty much the same process as before, CC one and kill the other, and after this everything in the instance is friendly and everyone can come in without problem. With the exception of the bosses, of course, which you must always avoid unless you have the king buff. And this was everything. I hope you found it useful, and happy farming in Dire Maul.